Stop lying to yourself that anxiety isn't just stress. It's a sign you are living against your frequency. Every time you check your bank account and feel that familiar tightness in your chest every time you lie awake at 3 a.m. wondering if you'll ever catch up, every time the world feels like it's conspiring against you, this isn't random. It's not bad luck or a failing of your character. It's your hippocampus screaming because it's been betrayed by the modern world. You were not born to live like this. You were not born to feel like a hamster on a wheel, running faster, pushing harder, but always ending up exactly where you started. That grinding exhaustion, that feeling of being trapped in a cycle you can't escape, that's not just life. That's the slave wave. It's the beta frequency, the brain wave of survival, of lack, of struggle. And it's been forced upon you by a world that profits from your suffering. The deep reason you are going through this pain is not because you're not trying hard enough. It's not because you lack discipline or vision. It's because your hippocampus, the tiny sacred organ in your brain, has been shrinking. That is the root cause. Your memory is fading. Your intuition is muffled. Your ability to receive abundance has been hijacked. And if you want to change this reality today, you don't need to work harder. You need to regrow that connection. You need to restore your natural frequency. And you can do it in just 7 minutes a day using sound. Now, to truly heal, you must understand the truth about your brain. There is an organ in there hidden like a sacred temple that connects you directly to God, to the universe, to the flow of abundance. It's called the hippocampus. This tiny piece of your brain is your spiritual antenna. When it's healthy, you don't just think, you feel the universe guiding you. Money appears. Without effort, opportunities find you before you even ask. Doors open before you knock. But the modern world has been poisoning this organ. Chronic stress from financial pressure, the relentless noise of a society that tells you to work harder, want more, never stop. The 24/7 news cycle screaming that the world is collapsing. The algorithm feeding you scarcity, the never-ending comparison to others who seem to have it all. It all shrinks your hippocampus. It turns it into a withered shell of what it was meant to be. And when your hippocampus is weak, you can't hear the frequency of abundance. You're trapped in beta, the slave wave. The frequency of the poor, the wealthy, don't live in beta. They don't grind themselves into the ground hoping for a break. They live in theta. Theta is the brain wave of creation, of flow, of receiving. It's where ideas come like a flood, where money finds you without effort, where your body relaxes into ease, where stress isn't a constant companion, but a rare visitor. The wealthy have been using theta their entire lives, whether they know it or not. They don't get there through sheer willpower. They get there through biology, through a brain that's wired for receiving, not struggling. And the shocking truth, this isn't some secret only the elite know. Powerful organizations have known about this for decades. The CIA studied it. They called it psychic driving. They used sound waves to break people's minds, to control their thoughts, to keep them trapped in fear. But what they didn't tell you is that these same frequencies can heal. They can rebuild your hippocampus. They can lift you out of beta and into theta. They can show you the door to freedom you've been lied to, told that abundance is earned through suffering, that success requires sacrifice, that you must grind yourself into the ground to deserve a better life. But that's the slave wave talking, that's beta whispering lies into your soul. The truth is that abundance is your birthright. The universe wants to give you everything you desire, but you can't receive it in beta. You must shift into theta first. Can you feel the weight of this truth settling into your bones? The realization that you've been betrayed, not by your choices, but by a system designed to keep you in struggle. This isn't bad karma. This isn't divine punishment for past mistakes. This is biology. Your hippocampus has been starved, and now you're paying the price with sleepless nights and empty pockets. Let me tell you a story. Sarah was a marketing manager in her early 30s. She worked 60-hour weeks. She had a 6-figure salary on paper, but after taxes, rent, student loans, and the endless cycle of subscriptions and lifestyle inflation, she felt like she was running in place. Every month, she'd check her account balance and feel that familiar panic. I'm failing, she'd think. I should be further along. She started waking up at 2:47 a.m. every night, heart racing, mind spinning through worst-case scenarios. She tried meditation. She tried affirmations. Nothing stuck. Then she discovered the connection between her brain and her bank account. After just 2 weeks of listening to the 7-minute sound ritual, a simple audio track embedded with binaural beats and isochronic tones designed to shift brain waves from beta to theta, something changed. She stopped waking up at night. She started receiving unexpected opportunities. A client she hadn't spoken to in years reached out with a high-ticket project. A friend offered her a side gig that paid more in 1 week than her monthly side hustle had in months. And one morning, she opened her email to find a bonus from her job, something she hadn't even applied for. It was like the universe had finally decided to stop ignoring her. But Sarah's story isn't magic, it's neuroscience. The sound ritual doesn't work by positive thinking alone. It works by rewiring your brain. Your hippocampus begins to regrow, the amygdala, your fear center, calms down. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for focus and decision-making, becomes clearer. You're not just relaxing, you're upgrading your operating system. This isn't about convincing yourself that everything is fine when it's not. It's about restoring the natural state your brain was designed for. In theta, your intuition is sharp. You know which risks to take. You trust yourself. You stop overworking. You stop people-pleasing. You stop chasing validation. You start receiving. The wealthy operate in theta without even realizing it. They don't just work hard, they work smart. They delegate, they invest, they create systems. They listen to their gut. They don't fear abundance, they expect it. They don't see life as a battle to be won. as a flow to be surrendered to. And that's the key. Surrender isn't weakness. Surrender in Theta is power. It's the power to receive, to trust, to allow. The modern world teaches you to force, to push, to grind. But abundance doesn't come from force. It comes from alignment, from a brain that's no longer stuck in survival mode. But how do you make that shift? How do you move from beta to theta when your entire life has been built on scarcity programming? You don't do it with affirmations alone. You don't do it with vision boards or gratitude journals, though those can help you do it with frequency, with sound. Binaural beats and isochronic tones are not new. They've been studied for decades. When you listen to slightly different frequencies in each ear, your brain creates a third tone, the binaural beat that synchronizes your brain waves. It's like tuning a radio. You're shifting from the chaotic static of beta to the clear, coherent signal of theta. It's not hypnosis. It's not brainwashing. It's neuroscience. The first time you listen, you might feel a tingling in your head, a warmth spreading through your body, a sudden clarity like a fog lifting. That's your hippocampus waking up. That's your connection to abundance strengthening. That's your ticket out of the cycle of struggle. You might ask, why 7 minutes? Why not an hour? Why not a full meditation? Because your brain can shift states quickly when given the right stimulus. 7 minutes is enough to nudge your brain out of beta and into theta. It's short enough to fit into a busy schedule, long enough to create real change. And here's the secret. You don't need to believe in it for it to work. You don't need to have faith. You just need to be willing to try. The sound wave is a tool, a technology. It doesn't care if you're skeptical. It works on the level of biology. It rewires your brain whether you understand it or not. I've seen people who were deeply cynical, people who rolled their eyes at woo-woo spirituality, change their lives with this sound, not because they believed in energy or manifestation, but because their brain waves shifted, their cortisol levels dropped, their sleep improved, their intuition sharpened. They started making decisions from a place of calm, not panic. They started receiving. One man, let's call him James, was a software engineer. He worked in a high-pressure tech company where layoffs were always looming. He lived on caffeine and adrenaline. One day, after listening to the sound ritual for just 3 weeks, he had a moment of clarity during the session. He realized he didn't need to stay at that company. He could freelance. He could build his own thing. He could trust himself. Within a month, he had quit his job, launched a side project, and within 6 months, it was generating more income than his full-time salary. He wasn't manifesting his way out of struggle. He was healing his brain out of survival mode. Another woman, Maria, was a nurse working double shifts. She felt trapped. Every paycheck went to bills. She had no savings. She was exhausted. But when she started using the sound ritual, she noticed something strange. She stopped dreading her shifts. She started noticing small opportunities. A patient who tipped, while a colleague who mentioned a better paying position. She applied for a new job and got it. Her income increased by 40% in 3 months, not because she worked harder, but because she stopped being in a state of lack. These aren't miracles. They're biological upgrades your hippocampus can regenerate. It's one of the few parts of your brain that can produce new neurons throughout your life, a process called neurogenesis. And when you stimulate it with the right frequencies, it grows it, heals it, reconnects you to your natural state of abundance. But here's the hard truth: you won't see lasting change if you keep feeding the slave wave, if you keep scrolling through social media, consuming fear-based news, surrounding yourself with people who reinforce your scarcity mindset. You're sabotaging your own healing. The sound ritual is a tool, but you have to meet it halfway. You have to create space. You have to let go of the belief that struggle equals worth. The universe is not withholding abundance from you. It's waiting for you to tune in, to shift your frequency, to step out of beta and into theta. The sound wave is there. It's been waiting for you to click. It's been waiting for you to accept this help. Don't let another sleepless night go by don't let another bill remind you of your struggle. Don't let another day pass where you feel like you're drowning in a system designed to keep you in lack. You deserve ease. You deserve flow. You deserve to wake up without dread. You deserve to check your bank account without flinching. You deserve to walk through life knowing that everything is working out for you, even when it doesn't look that way yet. This is not a dream. This is your biology. This is not a fantasy. This is neuroscience. This is not a secret. This is a tool of liberation. The sound wave is ready. Your freedom is waiting. Click now.